welcoming to Rage Against the Mainstream for the first time, our new friends, Condition1. And we have Doug, Mike, Pete, and Kyle. How you guys doing this evening?
We're good. Thanks for having us.
So, for those listening that are unaware, I have a past history with these guys. I was in their band for a brief period right before Rage Against the Mainstream had started, and since then they've put out an album. So, I mean, you guys are kind of here to talk about that, but I have some basic general questions for you. So, I guess go through the lineup here. Who's in the band? What do you do? And how do you do it?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Doug. I'm the guitar player. We have Pete on drums. We've got Kyle on bass, and then our front man on vocals is Mike. So pretty much I write most of the music for the most of the music. Pete comes up with all our drums, and then Mike writes all our lyrics.
I do nothing.
Yep. Kyle's our emotional support animal.
Cheerleader.
Everybody needs a cheerleader.
That's right. That's Jeff.
So, how did you guys get together? What's the backstory? If there was to be a Condition1 biopic, how would it roll?
I think it all started back when Kyle and I worked together at a cell phone store back in the day. I saw Kyle bringing his bass in and playing on his lunch breaks. And fast forward a few years later, I was permanently in South Jersey, and I saw Kyle reach out on Facebook saying he was looking to start a band. Does anybody play guitar? I said, "Oh yeah, you know what? Let me take a look at that. I'll come down and see what you guys are up to at practice." Me, Kyle, Mike was there, and then a couple other guys. We had a jam or two, and after the first couple of practices, I said to Kyle and Mike, I said, "Look, I like what you guys got going on here. I think we could potentially do something here, but I don't know if the other guys are going to work out. They're kind of just playing music that sounds like direct rip-offs of other bands." And then, the rest is history. We decided to go forward with it. And from there, we started putting some songs together. A good friend of ours, Lane, had started playing drums with us and was starting to work on producing us. Unfortunately, Lane had passed away, and we ended up needing a new drummer. That's when we started putting our feelers out on the social media, Facebook, Craigslist, and we were lucky enough to find Pete.
Our last choice.
Yeah. Pete came on down for a few practices. He clicked with us right away. We liked him. Personality fit was great. He cracks us up, and that's how it all started.
Nice. So, I guess let's go back to the basics here. What got you guys into music, or what are some of the influences? What shapes the Condition1 sound?
Yeah, I'm all over the place with stuff that I like. Yeah. I like all that European stuff. I like the power metal. I like Blind Guardian was one of my favorite bands. And then I got some wild ones like Manowar. It all comes together. Iron Maiden, like that all stuff is stuff that I was always interested in playing.
You kind of fit the aesthetic of the Manowar.
Oh, yeah? Do you picture me in a loincloth and a sword?
I picture that all the time.
I do it.
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was about 6, and I've always been into pretty much all styles of metal. I like pretty much just every genre of music, aside from pop country and pop. But the classics like Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden always had a big influence on me. I love Metallica, Slayer, and then for like newer stuff, I'm into your, In Flames, Avenged Sevenfold, all that stuff's great. Yeah, I don't really discriminate. I'll listen to it all.
Nice. What about you guys, Mike and Pete?
They love baby metal. They both.
I'm going to pretty much steal Kyle and Doug's answers here. The classics, Ozzy and Black Sabbath, obviously, and Iron Maiden, and the newer guys, Avenged, and I have my what's the word I'm looking for? I have my guilty pleasures like Linkin Park or
Dolly Parton.
Five Finger Death Punch. I even listen to some of their stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, and I listen to classic rock and even some classic country and even some classic hip hop. So I'm pretty eclectic.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, I would say I was huge into Korn growing up, Slipknot and Mudvayne. Mudvayne was definitely a heavy influence, especially the album LD50. Because it's very different, progressive. I love Protest the Hero, Polyphia, Chan. So there's definitely some jazz influence. I think that I like to try to throw some of that stuff into my drumming, especially with like Megadeth. They've gone through a few drummers that have been very interesting. I love Kesha.
I knew it.
I do. I love Kesha.
Who doesn't?
And I like everything. Like rap, I love Tech Nine, Hobson, Mayday. I'm kind of all over the place, and I feel like I try to always grow musically and take whatever catches my ear and try to incorporate it. At least figure out where it fits in my drumming, even if I can't really do it. I think throwing things towards the music can only help, at least just to try it out. So,
yeah, I think that's what it really boils down to. Is like, all music can be good. It's got to move you. It's got to have you feel something.
Yeah, it's all up to interpretation or however you perceive it, and it can mean one thing for somebody and a totally different thing for somebody else. And I think it's funny, like the what's the word I'm looking for here? The broad spectrum of music and genres and bands and stuff. It makes for a very unique sound for you guys.
It's interesting because people say that I'm on the spectrum. So,
so in the wake of the pandemic and everything, how did you guys keep busy with the band? Obviously shows around our area have been very scarce, if not, not happening at all. You guys just did the self-titled album. What was the process like for that? Like recording it, whatever, like staying focused and staying into it, with everything that's going on.
So we were lucky enough that before the end of the pandemic, or before the beginning of the pandemic, we had already recorded most of the tracks for the first album. We just pretty much needed to get them all mixed, and try to get the right sound on it. As you know, we're self-produced. We actually learned how to do all this ourselves over the last few years. We thought that it was a better idea to go at our own pace, and kind of learn as we go, rather than wasting time and money in a studio where we would have limited amount of hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the way that the world is now, it's almost going towards that, to where you're going to see, or you do see, more people that are self-produced, or like the bedroom recording studio type bands and shit like that. And I think that it's like inspirational, that it's like, anybody could do this as long as you have the music or the chops.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the knowledge and you know how plugins work, the sky's the limit. You can get really good studio quality sounds right in your basement or your bedroom. And the more you do it, the more tutorials you watch, read, you learn a lot, and you learn a lot quickly. We're already starting to work on some new songs, and I'll say, like, so far the quality on them, based on what I learned off doing the first album, next album's going to be even better.
That's awesome. So going to this album, what was the main inspiration for this? Like, where did the process come from with writing these songs and the lyrics, and like what kind of place did this come from?
Very dark place.
So I think for writing the music, it pretty much was a conglomeration of all the different kind of metal styles we like. And we wanted to, create a sound that kind of touches on everything. We wanted to create a sound that's hard and heavy, but something that everybody can listen to. Nothing that's going to be over the top noisy. It's still going to be extreme, but not to the point where it's not musical. I think that's kind of always been our rule of thumb. Like, we want it to sound, as brutal as possible, but still being musical. And then,
exactly.
As far as our inspirations for song ideas, Mike, he tends to pretty much be the sole writer of all our lyrics. Although fun story, the way that we came up with the idea of Blackwood Morris.
That was my next question.
we actually had our first rehearsal at a house that Kyle was living in at the time, which was on Morris Avenue in Blackwood, New Jersey, and we were standing there in the basement thinking of song ideas and different ways we could go, and it just clicked in my head. I was like, man, okay, so we're at Morris, Blackwood. I was like, Blackwood Morris sounds like a character of some sort. And then
we should write a story.
Yeah, I was like, we should
come up with a story for it, and
we're all pretty big fans of horror. Yeah. So Mike ended up kind of putting together a horror story, based on a character called Blackwood Morris, and that's how that became a song.
So, is there a concept album in the works for a Blackwood Morris type solo thing, or is that just strictly for this first album? Are we going to expand on the Blackwood Morris character any further?
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know that we'll do a full concept album, but I could see like a another song, centered around it, possibly.
Return of Blackwood Morris.
The Bride of Blackwood Morris, or Rise of Blackwood Morris, or the Return of Blackwood Morris.
Is this just Chucky?
The Curse of Blackwood. Oh, wait, no, that's the song already. My bad.
We could go Metallica style and do like the Unforgiven 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, exactly. That could work. So, in the process of doing this album, as any band probably does, you guys probably considered doing covers. Is there any cover that you guys would have liked to have put on this album, or was that something that wasn't even discussed at all?
Well, we have been kicking around a few covers. We were looking at possibly doing some Rage Against the Machine or Alice in Chains.
My vote was for Madonna.
Yeah, I voted that one. Yeah, we decided that if we were going to do a cover, most likely we'll just keep that for live shows for right now. We haven't ruled it out, though, on the next album. If we if we come up with something that's good enough that we can kind of put our own spin on it, we might go ahead and throw that on there.
So, if you could cover any song, what would it be?
Oh, geez.
Any song.
Any song in the world.
It has to be epic. Oh, that's a tough question.
Mine would probably be Kesha Die Young.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that would be like there's a lot of room for it, but I don't think anybody else would go for it.
Yeah, I like we'd been working on "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains. I've always really liked that jam. That's definitely one I would love to do.
Let's go on. Welcome Home, Coheed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had also considered doing "Welcome Home" by Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah,
It's a good old classic for Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, those are all good choices.
Yeah, I do like "Welcome Home" by Coheed and Cambria because I think the music is awesome. I just don't really care for the vocals.
See, I think that's the main thing that turns people off from Coheed and Cambria. I feel like they don't get talked about enough for, you know, how good of a band they are, but I feel like what really does them in is Claudio Sanchez, and I feel like that's the same reason why people don't like Rush either.
I agree.
Yeah,
I 100% agree.
Like, honestly, like Coheed is kind of like this generation's version of Rush.
sort of. Yeah, they definitely have a similar vibe. Singers in the same register.
What's one of the coolest shows that you guys have played so far?
I would probably say Red Stallion in let's see, where was that? Warminster, PA. Yeah, that was a pretty cool show.
Yeah.
I liked Century. Century
Century,
was good because it was packed. It was the drinks were cheap. I mean, that was just a great show, man.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
The audience was into it.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Do you have any advice or tips for anyone trying to, you know, start a band, write music, trying to get their, get their traction moving, get their foot in the door with this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would say, go for it. Playing in a band is definitely the most fun I've had in my life. I went for quite some time between high school, to now, where I didn't play in a band, where I was doing college and just, getting a career together and everything. And I missed it bad. Getting Condition1 together, it's some of the most fun I've had in my life. Having a band, you can get all that aggression out. You can get your ideas out there. It's a canvas for you, really,
Never be afraid to express yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind of cliche, but.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, you can't go into it with the idea you're going to make $1 million. Just get out there and do it. Have fun, and if people think that it sucks, is what it is. You're doing it because you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to please everybody.
Take your street name and your town and create a character.
Yeah.
So, going back to Blackwood Morris for a second, is this going to be like your guys' version of like Eddie from Iron Maiden, or I forget the Skull's name from Megadeth, or anything like that? Is he going to be like the mascot, or the Crimson Ghost from the Misfits, something like that?
That's what I would love it to be, but I got voted down.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet.
I got
but
voted
maybe.
down, Bill.
I mean, you could pull off the whole like Blackwood Morris persona, and like you wouldn't be Mike anymore. You would just be Blackwood Morris.
Yes.
I mean, it could work. It could definitely work.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, we'll see.
Talk some sense into these guys. Thank you.
So when the when the pandemic clears up and all this is over and we're allowed to resume normal life and go back to playing shows and go back to seeing shows and actually being around people, what would be your ideal lineup for a show? Like if someone was just like, listen, I'm going to give you carte blanche, whatever band you want of any band ever, assemble me a lineup. What would be the perfect lineup for you guys?
As in like shows we would want to go see?
No, as in like you're playing with these bands.
Oh, okay. On tour with the bands. Oh, geez. Alive or dead?
It could be both. It could be both.
Maiden? You wouldn't stop. I feel like we all said Maiden.
Yeah, I'd have to say Maiden would be number one on there.
Amazing.
Pantera.
Yeah,
Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera would be probably a second for me. So you have like guys out there about now, Lamb of God maybe.
Oh my God, yeah, that'd be a good one.
Where haven't you guys played that you would like to?
Oh man, what's a
I'd
good
love to
one?
play the truck, but they shut it down.
Did they shut the truck down?
Yeah, she's gone.
Oh, man. So what about the electric
Electric
factory?
Factory, yeah.
That's called something else now, isn't it?
Is it really?
It is,
Like
yeah.
the Ben Franklin Music Center or something?
Franklin Music Hall, I think.
Franklin Music Hall.
Yeah.
Does it still do like metal shows, or is it changing up that too?
I have no idea. I know that the name change started, I think, like last year. So, I mean, there really hasn't been much of anything going on.
I want to be on a festival, you know, like any type of like a Mayhem type or an old Ozfest type. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
that would be a dope
Run
show.
around the old Slipknot.
Yeah,
99 Slipknot. Yeah.
That's funny.
cool.
So, I guess like the last thing I got here is it is not a question at all. It is a chance for you guys to plug yourselves. Where can people find you? Where can people find the album? Where can people find Blackwood Morris if he is out there in physical form?
Oh, he's out there.
Oh, he's on
This-
Facebook.
This is your chance to plug yourselves.
Mike. Let's see. Facebook is Facebook Condition1 Rocks is our Facebook, and you can find the album on Bandcamp. It's just under Condition 1.
It's also streaming on Spotify as well, right?
Yes,
That's
all
right.
of the,
all streaming media has us now.
yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Just yell at Alexa. Say, Alexa, play stuff. Play some Condition 1.
And Blackwood Morris is on Facebook at Blackwood Morris.
I'm not going to lie. The second that you guys said that the album had dropped, I went on to Spotify and immediately put it on my playlist.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Well, this is a nice catch-up process and being able to talk to you guys again. Not that there was anything that was really holding us back from talking to one another, but
I saw you last week.
yeah, exactly. You said it last week. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. I've been actually excited about having you guys on the show because I definitely want people to hear this music and, you know, just to be able to shoot the shit with you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Condition 1. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We are Condition 1, and here's our latest. Fire for Effect!
Fire for a fact!